You are watching part 3 out of 4 on restoring this poor neglected IGT Joker's Wild Draw poker machine. Now we're going to tackle that control panel, the marquee light, and the jackpot reset key. I'm Lawton Barnes, you're in the metal shop, let's rock. I'm going to keep advancing through this. We've tested the bell, I don't care about the meters. This is going to test the lights. That should cause the deal draw light to come on. It does. That is functional. Same thing here. Hold cancel. Oh, is that? Okay, that's hold cancel number 1, which isn't working as a button, but it is working as a light, and each time I advance, that one works. Middle one works. Number 4 works. And number 5 works. Okay, all our buttons light up. And then, okay, what does sound effects do? Let's find out. Okay, audio board is working great. Okay, we're back to the issue of the jackpot reset, which is missing its key. And we have a hole in the side of the machine where I would like to put a new jackpot reset key, but my key is smaller than the hole itself, which leaves me with the choice of drilling another hole and putting some sort of a cover plate on that, or coming up with some sort of an alternate solution. And here is the little hack that I've come up with, the little cheat, if you will, is I'm going to put an arcade button in there instead. It's just the right size for the hole, and that's what it's going to look like when we're done. That's going to be my jackpot reset switch. For home use, I think this is fine. And then we just snap the little micro switch in place onto these pegs right here. And once that clicks in, I'll attach the wires from the old jackpot reset key onto this. And that dog will hunt. Okay, so we're back to the front control panel. Our number 1 hold button was malfunctioning. And I'm going to have to admit something. If there is one thing about poker machines that I dislike working on, it is the buttons in this control panel. And it's not that it's anything particularly complicated. The challenge with them is that there's a lot of small parts that are really close together, and my old fat fingers just can't get up in there and get all that stuff in the right place as well as I used to. I am going to do my best to avoid going in from the bottom and having to reconnect all of the wiring and switches. I think I've come up with a way that we can repair this by coming in from the top. These buttons are very similar to the one that's inside the machine. With these 4 buttons, you give them a push and there's a very faint clicking sound. But with this one, there's no click. It's just loose and springy. On the bottom of this, there are 3 little white pegs which move when you push the button down. And this one in particular on the side, that little white L-shaped thing right there, that's what's pushing down on the micro switch to make the connection. And I'd be willing to bet that it has broken off. And the reason that these would tend to break off is there's an incandescent bulb in there, and you can see how yellowed that one has gotten with time. Heat from the bulb has yellowed the plastic and made it brittle. So we're going to pull this one out very gently, try not to break off the little white tab, and see if I can replace it on the machine from the top. Now, to get this out, I think I'm just going to try to grab it with my finger, and I need to pinch those two inward. I'm going to be as gentle as I possibly can, and I'm going to try to push these inward, and it popped right through. Okay, that is the piece in question. And I'm going to see if I can take the plastic cover off of this switch by grabbing it with needle nose pliers and pulling it out. Okay, so I've removed the button top from in here. I'm going to pull this spring out. And there they are. There are the broken pieces inside of the switch that have snapped off with age. I'm just going to reach in and get them out. And we'll see what happens if I just stick this new piece into the same holes. The one to my left looks like it's going to contact the micro switch. Not sure what it's going to take to wiggle that down in there. Hear the click. We put that back. Now, I want to put my button top back on. So I'm going to put my button cover back in. I'm afraid all the lettering has worn off of it, but we'll just take it like that. And then the clear plastic top. I'm going to snap it down. And that, you hear the little click? That's going to be a properly functioning button. I was fortunate that I had another one of these buttons and was able to rebuild this one without totally rewiring the whole control panel. But if you don't have additional buttons, they are for sale online. The biggest challenge with these is that they rarely match. So you could end up, if you replace one, you'll probably want to replace them all just to make it look good. Okay, another thing I'd like to fix with this machine. This fluorescent light housing here has come loose. It's very brittle and yellow from heat over the years. And from looking at it, I don't see any way to replace or repair this or get a replacement part for it. So the best solution I've come up with is I found a piece of foam rubber packing material, and I am just going to see if I can wedge it up in here and use that to hold the fluorescent fixture in place, and bada bing, bada boom, we're powered back up. Okay, if I can hold that 7, it works. Look at that. We fixed it. Okay, so I'm holding those spades and deal. All right, so that works. And then our other thing was the Jackpot reset button over here. Let's see what happens when we press it. Look at that. It's bringing up our statistics screen. Okay, all of our buttons are functional. The marquee light is better secured. There is one thing left to do to this machine, and that is overhaul that monitor. When we come back in part 4 of this series, we're going to replace all of the electrolytic capacitors in this CRT monitor.